यो गाइस व्हाट्स अप। ये वैसे मेरे घर में शोर नहीं, ये इस गेम में शोर है। आज हम खेलने वाले हैं यू आर प्लेइंग द स्टैनली पैरेबल। इफ इट इज करेक्ट, आई डोंट नो। The end is never, the end is never, the end is loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
427.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And Stanley was happy.
Stanley was happy. ऐसे?
And then one day something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Corona.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting,
because of Corona,
or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
Okay.
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
करना क्या?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. Meeting room. Where is the meeting room, bro? Meeting room कहाँ है? Oh. I had Monday. Okay. Good for you.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. Oh, ये स्टोरी बता रहा है और मैं वो करेक्टर खेल रहा हूँ. Nice.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oh.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Boss, always up. Yo, boss. What the heck? कोई काम पे नहीं आया. Hey, where's my boss? Yo, fuck.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
The fuck, man?
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2, 2, 4, 7, 5.
Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, it would be another story entirely. But no. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to import the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Can I play piano? No. Stanley, you are fucked up, bro. Stanley then go in elevator and then he pushed the button down and the light turned on. आगे का मैं करता हूँ.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay, यार ये बहुत बात करता हूँ. इधर वो left जा
Stanley
रहा है.
walked straight ahead through
Fuck
the
you,
large
Stanley.
door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape? Bro, I will escape. Just kidding, man. Bro, this is X-Men scene.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
But, okay, I have to go here. Whoa, move.
Now the monitors jumped to
Whoa.
life, their true nature
GG.
revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Okay, what next? Okay. Stanley, you are so fucked up, bro.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Illuminati, Illuminati, Illuminati.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable.
True,
wasn't
bro.
it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Illuminati, Illuminati.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Oh, okay, I got it. What the heck is this? Yo. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 button बांधने हैं. ऊपर कौन सा है? 4. Okay. 1, 2. Where's the 3? Where's the 3 yet? Can I go down? Yep. 1, 2. 3. Bro, you need to hire someone, okay? अकेला ये हर बार नहीं कर सकता. There you go, 5. Now I need to push this red button, I think. Nope. There is 6 also. 6 bhi hai kya? Okay, escape. Let's go escape. Oh,
And when
okay.
at last he found the source... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted?
Yes.
Control?
Yes.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand,
What?
there's only so much that machine do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave.
Okay.
If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification,
Okay,
nuclear
fine.
detonators are said
Okay.
to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start.
What?
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them.
What?
I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
You are
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces.
What the fuck?
Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
What the fuck just happened? Am I dead? क्या हुआ? Oh, गलत फैसला.
All of his co-workers were guards.
Abhi escape
That realized he simply had Stanley to live
his
for. Nope. Death. Still on board with death?
मुझे ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है ये खत्म नहीं हो रहा रास्ता? Endless है.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Oh, I'm dead. So मुझे. Oh no, I'm not dead. What the heck? Yo!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
No way, bro. I'm dead. What's just happened?
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Okay.
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh! Gigi, where do I go?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
इस गेम में अलग अलग फैसले लेना है और निकलना है. हर बार कहीं पे जाके स्टक हो जाता है, तो वो नहीं करना. तो ये गेम बहुत बहुत माइंड यूज करने वाला है. सो आज के लिए ये वीडियो इधर ही. थैंक यू एवरीवन. लाइक करना, शेयर करना, सब्सक्राइब करना. थैंक यू.